The next step is, okay, so far the applications we've seen today, they are just pulling static data. So anyone who visits the basic anatomy app, for example, anyone will get the same building data. Okay, so that's called pulling static data. But however, if your app is wanting data specific to that current user's operations, for example, like say, get me the place marks for level 2, okay, or if you're using Nimbus, get me all the restaurants around Republic Polytechnic, okay, then you need to be able to query this live data from the server. Okay, how you do it depends on the server. So for example, for Project Nimbus, I think they're using Microsoft OData to ask for this data. Okay, if you're pulling data from Google Maps, okay, they're using their Google Data APIs. So depending on what data you want, you're going to learn different processes. Okay. The fourth one is the reverse. Okay. Instead of pulling data specific to user, you want to save user data to the server. Okay. So for example, your application allows the user to create a place mark. Okay. And you want him to save that place mark on the server. Okay. So on your client side, you have all the data in JavaScript, right? You have the coordinates, you have the place mark name, the contents, everything. Okay. You got somehow be able to transmit this to the server, and on the server side, you must somehow be able to save it to a database. Okay. And lastly, okay, this one's not so much an operation, but more a desirable behavior. For all of the above operations, and in fact for any long-running operation, if you want to have a nicely behaving application, you need to perform all these operations asynchronously. As in, when they're happening, it won't hang your browser, you know. So that you can do things like you can show progress, the user can cancel the operation, or he can do other things with your application as it is performing these operations. Okay. Yeah. So this is just a high-level look at operations. Okay. So if you don't know, yeah, please go read up. Okay, so lastly, this is a Germanium specific part, is, okay, previously we saw, we're working on office building and we saw the shopping mall, right? So we're actually providing these 4 buildings for the competition. Okay, you can use the shopping mall, you can use the office building. The NUS School of Computing has provided their building to use, and Republic Polytechnic also will be coming up soon. Okay. However, if you don't, okay, and you can get all of them at this URL. However, if you want to use your own building, okay, there's 2 tools. First is the quick and easy way. Okay, this especially if you don't have a building at all and you want to focus on your application and you don't really need, if your application doesn't really need a full 3D building, okay, you can actually get up a building in 10-15 minutes just by placing floor plans in Google Earth, stacking them up, okay, saving them to a KML file. And when you bring this KML file, you load this KML file in Germanium, it will generate these outlines, it will stack them up properly, and it will create the BBL for you. Okay? So you can actually retrieve level 1, 2, and 3 using the same functions. Okay? So this is a quick and easy way. However, if you want to do the full 3D model, like what we saw earlier, okay, we provide a building composer tool. Okay? This is also for those who already have a 3D building ready. Okay, how do you get your 3D building, you know, in Max, Maya, or SketchUp, or whatever, over to Germanium? Okay, so the route we support is, as long as your modeling application, for example, Max, Maya, or Google SketchUp, okay, AutoCAD, yes, AutoCAD too. Okay, you export them to Collada, okay, which is this open source 3D format. Okay, we're very, very widely supported. If you use any modern 3D package, almost certainly it supports Collada. So you export each level to one file. Okay, then you import all of this into Building Composer, and there you can give your building a name, you can give it description, you can choose how to stack up your building, and this exports it to the Germanium building format. Okay, then you can host this file on your server and you can load it in your Germanium application. There's also one guide on our website if you're modeling from scratch, or if you already have a model and you try loading it and you realize that it's too slow in Germanium, right? So let's say you have a model which is actually meant for high quality rendering, you know, has tons of geometry. Like if you take this room, okay, let's say these slats, if they are all done in geometry, right, and all the chairs are full geometry, is very, very heavy. It will burden your video card. So unless your users are using very powerful video cards, it will run quite slowly. It won't be as smooth as the offices, the office and the shopping mall that we saw today. So we have a guide on our site. Okay, you go to the building creators here, and it's down here, which lists some optimizations that you can do for your model. Especially useful if you are going to start modeling. Okay, if you are going to start modeling and you don't have 3D modeling software, what we recommend is you grab Google SketchUp. Firstly, it's easy to learn, and secondly, okay, more importantly, it's free. Okay, it's completely free. Maya, I believe there's also a free version for students, but for those who are in industry, sorry, no luck. But SketchUp is free for those in the industry too. Okay, so after you have modeled your building, okay, you're going to deploy it on your web server. Okay, so these are some of the things to look out for. Okay. Firstly, 3D models, okay, they usually do not store textures in the 3D model file. Okay, so like if you have JPEGs and PNGs for the textures, right, these are actually separate files, and your 3D model file has to refer to them. Okay, so one quick tip is to use relative paths so that you can move your model and texture files together, and all the references won't break. Okay, so this goes hand in hand with preserving the directory structure. So for example, if your model file is in the root, and then you create a subdirectory called textures, and you put your textures there, okay, when you move this to your web server, be sure to preserve the directory structure so that the relative paths will continue to work. Next is to make sure that your file name capitalization is correct. Okay, especially for those who are using Windows. If, for example, in your model file, you're referring to the texture with a capital F, okay, but the actual file name is using a small f, okay, this will work fine in your 3D package. There'll be no problems. But when you upload these files to the web server, okay, then suddenly when you try to load in Germanium, it won't be able to find the texture. Okay, this is because most web servers are case sensitive. So you gotta make sure your model is using the correct capitalization. Okay, and last gotcha is Germanium specific. Okay, Germanium does not allow hosted web apps. That means web apps that are www.example.com, okay, to load local files. Okay, files that are in your C drive and D drive. Okay, okay. Let me go through the process. Okay, when you are developing your app, and let's say you are developing it locally, so your HTML file is on your C drive. Okay, this HTML file will be allowed to load your buildings, which are also on your C drive and also on the web. Okay, this is fine for testing. However, when you move your HTML file to your web server, if your HTML file tries to load your building file on your C drive, Germanium won't allow it. Okay, and the reason is because it's a security risk. Okay, if we allow this, it means that any one of you who visit a website, the website can actually start loading files that are on your hard drive. Okay, so it's an obvious security risk. So it's not allowed. So the obvious solution is when you move your web app to a hosting solution, okay, you move your data file too. Okay, so it's also hosted on a URL. Okay, and this is fine. Okay, so that actually brings us to the end. Okay, I hope that this gives you a better idea of what Germanium is and how to use it, and hope you guys have fun using it for the competition. Okay, if you guys haven't already filled in the feedback, please do. It's a very quick one. It's just 9 questions. Most of them are just MCQs. And the URL there, and there's also a link on links page. Okay. After today, if you want to find out more information, you want to post questions, you can just drop a question on our forum. Okay, we are always monitoring it. And if you want to know more about what is happening, like for example, when we deploy the Republic Polytechnic building, okay, we'll actually post it on our blog. So you can subscribe to its RSS or Atom feed, then you'll be informed immediately when it happens. You can also drop me an email. Okay, I guess none of y'all will have business emails, but if you do, you can send it to our business director over there.